Hello, welcome to whatever time and space that you are in. I'm here in the late afternoon, early evening on the San Juan Islands. I live in a yurt on a farm, and there are animals and humans and all sorts of activities and planes and mechanical pieces of machinery, things like that that come and go from time to time. I let you know that because sometimes those sounds come through in this recording. This offering is reasonably humble. I'm offering it to you from the space that I dwell in. And the idea is just that it's to be of use to the community. So take it as you will. You have a lot of knowledge. And since you and I aren't in a room together for me to validate and acknowledge that knowledge, I want to do it now in this way. You have knowledge in your body. Even if you've never done yoga before, you are the one in there feeling your way through this experience of this lifetime. So let that knowledge emerge. Let the knowledge you already have from movement practices, from being yourself, from knowing yourself, inform what you do and don't do. And remember, you don't have to do it as I'm describing it. I'll often offer options, but there's a myriad more than I'm able to say at all one time. And similarly, if you are in your own home or in your own space, you might not have yoga props. Good for you. You don't necessarily need to buy those things and feed into that. There's lots of good stand-ins usually listed with the video. But feel free to be creative with those, even if I'm not bringing them up, especially if you've had them offered to you at some other time or it's worked for you in some other way. Please feel free to do those things. It's close to the new moon here where I am in Scorpio, and I'm like Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising, inundated with Scorpios in relation in my life. And if you don't really do this whole thing with the horoscopes and the stars in the sky and stuff, know that really most of what I talk about in yoga is based more on the moon. The new moon is really a nice time to organize the beginning of projects and also the ending of things that you don't need anymore. So it can be a time of transition. Sometimes I think of that just here where I farm. There's a lot of farming methods where you plant during the new moon and then you have a full lunar cycle and you harvest during the full moon. It doesn't always work out that way, but it gives you an idea of sort of cyclical thinking, how we're in patterns of process. So we can sort of find ourselves in rhythm and find a way to balance things as they are in nature. The new moon also tends to be an introverted time, a dry time. A lot of Ayurvedic and traditional Eastern medicines acknowledge this time as a time where we turn inward and where we sort of need more rest and a little more space and things like that. So that might be true for you. So this offering is going to be very about folding forward, about stretching out the backside of the body, and about sort of addressing spaces that are a little bit more yin or more sort of internal to the body, like inner thigh spaces, things like our armpits. We don't get a lot of stretch into those things. If you have any reason for all in which those sorts of stretches might be limited, I really want to acknowledge that and give you space to do other things. Feel free always to alternate or really limit range of motion, knowing that how deep you move through space has little to do with the pertinence of strengthening that connected tissue and feeling in your body. All right. My name is Alyssa, and let's get started moving through space. So if you have a mat or a space cleared out, you might head over to it. I'm going to start in a seated position up on a prop, but you're welcome to start standing or to start sitting on a chair or in a posture. I'm going to acknowledge the lineage, my lineage of yoga a little bit by beginning with chanting 3 rounds of the seed sound of Om. For Om is a secular chant. It's supposed to be the sound of the universe or the sound of everything. So it doesn't have to be beautifully sung or created. You can also sit in silence and acknowledge it, or consider that idea of a perspective that is infinite and non-dualistic. Close your eyes or look at one spot. You can let your hands fall into any position that doesn't draw too much unnecessary attention to them. You might notice I have tightness in my neck and jaw, so I right away notice that I have to tuck my chin a little to soften the back of my neck. I have to lift the center of my sternum, my chest bone up so my shoulders can drop. You don't have to micromanage it too much, but if you can feel relaxation towards a more neutral position, do. And to clear the channel of the body, take an inhale in through your nose. And open your mouth like you're fogging a mirror, HA, to exhale. Inhale, prepare to Om. Om. The same way you controlled your breath to slow it down, to take big breaths to prepare for chanting, begin to breathe long and slow, smooth and deep. If you have an ujjayi practice, an upward liberating breath practice, begin that. There's a little bit of slowing the air down at the base of your throat. You don't have to tighten your throat or make it too rigid. Just enough to slow down that circulation of air. And then you might hear a whisper in your ear. And breathing long and slow is a muscular action. We train to do it. It's second nature. So if this is new to you, just go as long and slow, as smooth and deep as you can without forcing. Try to stay relaxed in attitude about it, efficient in effort. And slowly we'll make our way to a hands and knees position. If that's not a good position for you, you could do this from any kind of seat as well, with hands on knees. If you're coming to tabletop, plant your hands underneath your shoulders, your hips underneath your knee sockets. You could come to the forearms also if that's more stable. Or if ever you find that changing the angle is useful to you, you could come and bring hands to a wall, to the edge of a couch. And we'll undulate the spine, cow and cat. Inhale, breathing. Cow pose, drop your belly and your ribs, lift your heart up, your tail up. And exhale to cat, tuck your chin, round your spine. Follow your breath through these two actions, inhaling to cow and exhaling to cat. Now as you do this, as you find cow pose, imagine you're trying to drag your hands and your knees closer to one another, even though they won't go anywhere. And as you exhale, like you're trying to push your hands and your knees away from one another. Follow your breath. Now as you do this, try not to grip with your hands. And then instead, push down from the socket of your shoulder. And imagine it's almost like you're trying to slide a rug or a mat with that pressure. And there was a trendy time in yoga studios, it might still happen, we used to get the blankets out and slide around on them by pushing and pulling from our feet or our arms. Kind of like doing a burpee with friction. Good, and the next time you're at center, pause at center. And inhale to take your right arm out and up, reaching upward. Maybe twisting a little to the right. And on your exhale, thread the needle. Go underneath and behind your left wrist. And land on your shoulder, ear, or jaw. Now you might use your left hand on the ground. You could also use it to create a pillow for your head. You don't have to go super far into the twist to get the action of pressure, compression down on your shoulder. You're always welcome to take your top arm up or around behind your back. A lot of folks like that. You can always turn your face down instead of to the left. Take at least one slow round of breath, especially if you've been holding your breath, which is incredibly reasonable and human. And on the exhale, plant your left hand down and inhale your right arm back out and up, reaching upward. And exhale to reach it back, right, like you're doing a little backstroke. And circle it close to your body as you bring your right hand down. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Again, inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Take an inhale to find neutral. And on your exhale, press down into your right hand. Inhale your left arm out and up. Twisting to the left, perhaps reaching up. And exhale to thread the needle underneath and behind your right wrist. You can always bring a landing pad, like a pillow or some blocks underneath your shoulder. Dimensions of everyone's body will be different, as well as just sort of the nature of its stretchiness or strength, both how we feel and our sensations and the attitudes we create around them come to play, as well as sort of the real physics of our body and its organic structure. You can take any variations you took on the other side, but things don't have to be even from side to side. Quite often we are not. So it's okay to balance your choices as opposed to equating them. If you moved it, use an exhale to push your right hand into the earth and inhale your left arm out and then up. And exhale to sweep it back towards what's behind you on your way down to the ground. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, bend your elbows in and back. Lower your chin and heart forward and down. They don't need to touch the earth. They might, depending on your range of motion, your elbow tendons. Inhale to press back up, cow pose, and exhale to cat. You can try widening your hands out a little further, right and left. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, bend your elbows, offer your heart forward and down. Maybe your chin finds the ground softly. Inhale, cow pose, and exhale, cat. Good. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, curl your toes under. Inhale, lift your knees and hips up and back towards downward dog. Exhale, straighten your legs, let your heels drop towards the earth. Now you could keep your knees bent and your heels lifted in this shape for sure, especially if it allows you to tilt the underside of your pelvis up, your tail up, hang your head and press into your arms. In fact, take an inhale. On your exhale, bend your elbows and see if you can point them straight down towards the earth as opposed to out to the sides, wrapping them in towards the center as much as is feasible on the curves of your body. Then take an inhale to straighten your elbows and exhale there. And down dog. Again, take an inhale. Exhale, bend your elbows straight down towards the earth. Take an inhale to extend your elbows, press through your hands, and an exhale there. All right, inhale out into plank, upward push-up position, and right away, exhale to plank on the knees, which is different than tabletop. Tops of your knees down. You see how instead of a 90-degree bend in my pelvis, I got more of a straight line. I have to draw my navel in, tuck my tail down to give myself support in my lower back. Take an inhale. On your exhale, you could bend your elbows in and back and offer your chest and chin forward. Maybe the front of your chest lands on the ground. Inhale to push back up. Exhale to child's pose. So flatten the tops of your feet down and push back. You might plop your hands down one on top of the other. That's a new verb for me. You might stack one fist on top of the other. Put a block under your forehead. Maybe your forehead comes easily to the earth. Won't be here for a super long time. Know that not everyone feels sort of lovely in this shape. Sometimes the compression is a lot, especially if you're strong in your hips or your quads. Inhale forward into tabletop. Take an exhale to round into the cat shape. Inhale, cow pose, curl your toes under. Exhale to lift your knees with strength in your belly, even that back bend shape. Inhale, spin your hips up and back. You might keep your knees bent. Exhale, straightening the legs perhaps if you do that in downward dog. Inhale out into a plank. Exhale to your knees. Inhale, side plank, left hand is the base. You might spin your left foot out, rotate to the outside edge of your leg and bring your right foot up and over. You can also lift your right leg up. You're welcome to also choose to stack your 2 feet. We will do another one of these in a little bit. Remember, more isn't always better. Sometimes building layer by layer is actually just a way of harvesting our intelligence. You're welcome to take your top arm up or your bottom elbow down to the earth. Press down what is down. See if you can create upward buoyancy without necessarily turning your spine into the rainbow shape. Take another inhale. And exhale to return to plank on the knees. Let's do the side plank. Go to the opposite side. Roll to the outside edge of your right foot, inside edge of your left, rather. You might try shifting forward. Sometimes that allows us to really stack over the wrist. If your wrist tends not to like to fold very much, you might end up with your shoulder behind your wrist, and that's okay. Spread and press in that position as well. As you press down what is down, consider your ujjayi breath. Take a big free inhale. And exhale. Back to center. Take another inhale, and on your exhale, lower all the way down. You could do your chest and chin if you wish. Inhale to Cobra. Press the tops of your feet down, your hips down. Peel your upper body forward enough. You can tuck your chin if your neck needs you to. Exhale, lengthen to lower. Good again. Inhale to Cobra, Bhujangasana. And exhale, get lower. Imagine that your bottom ribs are dragging forward on the ground as they go up. And continuing to keep as much length as you can on the exhale. To come down, curl your toes under, plug your knees down. Inhale through plank on the knees. Exhale to child's pose. You can always take your knees wide. That's another option. You come forward and down. Take a long, slow inhale into the back half of your body. And exhale. All right. Inhale, come forward, tabletop. Exhale, cat pose, round your spine. Inhale, cow pose, curl your toes under. Exhale, lift your knees off the mat. Inhale, spin your tail up and back, keep your knees bent. Exhale, down dog, you might draw your heels towards the earth. Let's inhale to the tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, spin your tail up, press your armpits back towards your ankles. And exhale, drive your heels towards the earth if they're going down today. Use the pulling with your armpits, your hands. Inhale to come forward into plank position. Use the pushing with your hands. Exhale to go back to down dog. Push with your feet and legs. Inhale to plank. Pull with your hips going up and back, your belly strength. Exhale to down dog. Pull with your arms and push with your legs. Inhale. Plank pose. Pull with your hips and push with your hands. Exhale. Down dog. Inhale forward, plank position. Exhale, side plank. Roll to the outside edge of your left foot. You might stack or stagger your feet. Again, you could come to your bottom elbow. You can bring your top hand to your hip or take your arm straight up. Notice if you tend to come forward to your thumb or back to your pinky finger, try to spread the weight out into what's pushing down. Take an inhale. Exhale, back to plank pose. Take an inhale. Exhale, side plank. Remember, you can return to the bottom knee down. Stability is always something I recommend over performance. Right? We're not trying to create a lyrical shape or survive the hardest, twistiest shape we can think of. Not a survival practice. We do create a lot of strength in this practice because that's often what it takes to be flexible, to be open, to be receptive and able to sort of stay at peace. Take an inhale. Exhale, plank pose. Take an inhale. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. You can bend your elbows and lower halfway or place your knees on the ground. Inhale to upward dog. Pull your heart through. Press the tops of your feet down. Up dog, we're working the knees towards lifting off the ground. And exhale to down dog. You can always go through a child's pose on your way. Take a big free inhale in through your nose. Open your mouth to exhale, HA. Again, inhale, nose. Open mouth, exhale. Ujjayi, inhale in through your nose. Ujjayi, exhale out through your nose. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step or float your feet up to your hands and hang and forward fold. You can flip your palms up or grab your elbows. Bend your knees a little or a lot. Nod your head. Make sure it's loose like a pine cone hanging off a tree. Stable, but able to hang and take the vibrations of gravity and movement. Good. Inhale to halfway lift. Unroll your heart forward. You might keep your knees bent. You could press your hands to your shins or thighs to roll your shoulder blades down and back and peel your heart forward like that cow pose shape. Exhale, forward fold. Again, inhale. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's do it one more time. Inhale. Follow the length of your own breath. And exhale. Let's take Utkatasana. My feet are hips distance, but you're welcome to have your feet together. Bend your knees, sink your hips, even to take them wider, turn them out. Inhale, take your arms out to the side, forward or up overhead, and look forward or gaze up. Take a big free inhale, and exhale. Pour the weight into your left foot. Inhale, lift your right foot up, and exhale, step your right foot back into a high lunge, high on the ball of your right foot. Take an inhale. Exhale, settle into your left heel. Inhale to warrior two. Spin your right heel down and spread your arms out and open. Take an exhale to settle into your heels. Relax your toes. Inhale to straighten your left leg and turn your left toes in. Exhale, wide-footed forward fold. Fold over your two legs. Release hands to the earth or props underneath. Inhale like a halfway lift, unroll. Exhale, forward fold. Now as you press your heels down breath by breath, imagine you're pushing your legs towards one another at the same rate that you're pushing them away from one another. Spin your tail up. Use your psoas strength to fold you. Push against the ground if you wish to bring the crown of your head down. Inhale like a halfway lift. Exhale your hands to your hips. Inhale to stand up. Exhale, turn your heels in and your toes out. Bend your knees, sink your hips, Kali Goddess or horse pose. And shift from side to side. We're pretty rotated out. Be kind with your knees. The angle of your toes can change as you need to. But what uprights us is back bending. Stick your tail out, draw your belly in. You might tuck your tail a little, squeeze your glutes a little if you need to. But that's generally going to send us forward into the fronts of the knees. Lift your heart up. Take your arms out to the sides. Bend your elbows and face your palms forward. And draw your elbow tips back. Good. Take an inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale back to warrior two. Bend your left knee and turn your right leg around. Take an inhale to reverse warrior. Take your left arm up and back. Side body bend. Stay low in your left hip. And exhale your hands to the earth. Spin your right heel up and inhale one-footed dog. Take your left leg up and back. Exhale, open your hip and bend your knee. Scorpion, often what we call this shape. Inhale, straighten and extend your leg high and long. And exhale, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. You can walk it up there. I'm going to do a little bit of lunging action from here. So if you feel like it's really low to the ground or a lot in your knee or hip, you might prop yourself up with blocks, like a little table or something like that. Inhale, sink your back hip. You might soften your knee, lift your heart up. Exhale, straightening both legs, round your spine. Follow your breath. Inhale and exhale. I'm going to do a few low down, get into my pinchy hip. All right. Take an inhale, bend your front knee. On your exhale, you got props there, move them, put your hands towards the earth. We're going to turn your left toes in and walk your hands all the way over to your right foot. And turn to face your right foot all together. Inhale to plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga of your choice. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward dog or an alternative. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Breathe in through your nose. Make an SH sound as you exhale. Ujjayi in through your nose. Ujjayi out through your nose. Take an inhale. Bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step or float to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold deeply. Follow your breath through one more. Exhale to Utkatasana. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale your arms out, forward, or up. Take an exhale to rock your weight back and sink your hips down. You might draw your navel back, that Uddiyana Bandha, and lift the floor of your pelvis up, Mula Bandha. Take another inhale, and on the exhale, pour your weight into your right foot. Inhale to pick up your left foot. And slow, you can even drag it on the ground if you need to. Take several steps if you'd like. Draw it all the way back into a high crescent lunge shape. High on the ball of your left foot. Exhale to land in your right heel as opposed to grabbing with your toes. Take an inhale. Exhale to spin it open into Warrior Two by spinning your back heel down. Now it can be at a lot of angles. And we want to be able to spin the front thigh quite open as we settle down. So play around with where the facing of your pelvis goes for you. And let your tail stick out, your chest stick out. There's no panes of glass coming to squish you. Spread your arms out wide. Inhale, just straighten your right leg and turn your toes so your feet are parallel to one another. And exhale to interweave your fingers behind your back. Inhale, send your knuckles down. And exhale to fold forward. Now, this grip is no bueno for your body. Feel free to do something else, right? It's okay to grab for your elbows or hold a strap quite widely between your arms, especially if it all feels dense. You can also focus on the folding more than that stretch in the inner armpit. Always feel free to bend your knees, really press your heels down. Rotate your tail up, and breath by breath, bring the crown of your head down, or your body through the line of your legs. Inhale to stand all the way up. And exhale, hands on your hips, turn your heels in, your toes out, bend your knees, sink your hips for the goddess shape. And then you can take your arms out with your palms up. We're going to do a little side body bending here. So take an inhale. And exhale, tilt to the right. And your right elbow towards your right knee. Try to keep everything else relatively open in the front body. Inhale through center. Exhale, tilt to the left. You might add extension of your upper arm, a little jazzercise action. Inhale through center. And exhale, bring your right elbow towards your right knee and extend your left arm over. Inhale through center. Exhale to the left. Extend your right arm over. One more on each side. Use your breath. As you can. Come through center, straighten both legs. Exhale back into Warrior Two. Bend your right knee. Settle and stabilize your body. Flip your right palm up and inhale to reverse your warrior. And exhale your hands to the earth. Frame your front foot. Spin your back left heel up. Once your hands are planted, inhale for one-footed dog. Take your right leg up and back. Exhale, scorpion your dog. Open your hip and bend your knee. Inhale, straighten and extend. And exhale to step your right foot outside your right hand. You might be hearing a little bit of rain on this recording. You're always welcome to do this work lower down, or as with the other side, get your props. Sometimes getting the props feels like this furious thing. Remember, you can be just as graceful with moving the object about. Let it be a part of the action for you instead of an obstacle. We'll do these lunges. Inhale, lift your heart up. Drop your back hip like a cow lunge. Exhale, straightening both legs, round your spine. And welcome to turn your thigh bones out at the socket and see if that changes anything. Inhale, sink your hips. Exhale, straightening your legs. And do a few low down, inhaling and exhaling. Follow your breath. Do a few more. Next time your front knee is bent, bring your hands to the earth, move any props, and slowly pivoting in your feet with your knees soft, turn your right toes in and turn all the way around to face your left foot. Good. We'll inhale to plank pose and exhale Chaturanga Dandasana of your choice. Inhale, upward dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. You can always stand child's pose in or a seat. Take a big deep inhale in through your nose. Ujjayi, exhale out through your nose. All right, we'll do this little cycle again. Inhale, bend your knees with some other visitors. Exhale, step or hop forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and bend your knees, Utkatasana. All right. Inhale your arms up. On your exhale, put your weight in your left foot. Inhale to hang your right ankle up and over your left knee. You can always bring your hands down and do this sitting on a chair. It can be quite the thing for a lot of us in our outer hip and piriformis. You might find that sense of upward dog in the front of your chest. And also take your arms out, forward, or up. Some folks really love to do arm balancing from here, and you're welcome to do it. I'm not going to talk through it today, but you could do it if you wanted to. Take 3 deep breaths. Good, we'll do a little transition. Inhale to stand up. Bring your right knee with you in front of your body. Turn back. And on your exhale, bend your left knee and step your right foot back. All right, inhale to stretch up, and on your exhale, warrior 2. Good. Inhale to lean forward. Exhale into side angle. You could put your elbow on your knee. Today, my arm on the inside of my leg, pushing my knee out. And take my right arm up or over. And you're welcome to reach around and bind your hands behind your back, behind your left hip if you wish. Good. Inhale, stand up and straighten your left leg. Exhale, turn your toes in. Bring your hands on your hips, take an inhale, and exhale, fold forward. You might keep your hands on your hips this time. Take a few breaths. Prasarita Tanasana. Strong inner thighs, drawing up towards the groin. Your inner thighs will become active as you push your legs away. Your outer thighs turn on to do the work of pulling your legs apart. Your inner thighs balance that action through engagement. So I'm told, anyways. It might not feel that way, simply because that's how the muscle physics is explained. Inhale to stand up. Exhale, turn your heels in, goddess pose, bend your knees, sink your hips down. Good. Inhale to straighten your legs, straighten your arms. Exhale to bend your knees. Inhale, straighten your legs, straighten your arms. Exhale, bend your knees and lean to the right. Extend your left arm over. Good. Inhale, extend your arms and legs. Exhale, bend and tilt to the left. Extend your right arm over. Good. Inhale, straighten your arms and legs. Exhale, bend to the right. You might start to feel like you have more space. You could slide your arm down on the inside of your leg as your left arm comes over. Inhale, straighten your arms and legs out like a jumping jack. Exhale, bend your knees and bend to the left. You might straighten out your arm as you take your right arm over. Inhale to straighten. Exhale into that your two shape to the left one more time. Inhale to reverse your warrior, out, up, and back. Exhale your hands to the earth. Spin your right heel up. Pause. Plant your right hand down. You can bring your right knee down if you like. And inhale, twist to the left. Take your left arm up. You're welcome to keep the lift. Notice if you're really turning at your ankle or your hip. Keep lifting your right hip up, even as you twist to the left if you're lifted. If you're lowered down and you want to take that quad stretch, you can reach behind your left hand for your right knee. Good. Next exhale or two, return two hands to the earth. Curl your right toes under and lift the knee if you dropped it. Inhale, one-footed dog. Take your left leg high. Exhale, scorpion your dog. Open your hip. Bend your knee. Inhale to straighten and reach. And exhale to put your left foot down outside of your left hand. Lower your right knee down and turn to face you a little bit more. I'm going to take my left arm behind my left foot. I'm going to bring my left shoulder behind my left knee. I take my left foot wide to the left and turn it out. Experiment with what is right for you. Those are just some of the ways of doing it. You can always be up on a prop or on two hands. You can come to your right forearm. You're welcome to turn to the left and bring your chin towards your shin. Some folks prefer this with the back knee lifted. Gives you a little more gravity slope downward in your upper body. Good. If you climbed behind your left leg, climb out, curl your back toes under, lift your back knee up. We'll walk our way over to the right foot. This time, drop your left knee down and straighten your right leg, half Hanuman, half split. Now, as you do this, you might move more splitty. You can slide your heel forward, slide your back leg back as you wish. Notice how you can drive from the ground beneath your right heel, your right thigh bone back into the socket of your hip. And from the ground beneath your left knee, you can press your left hip forward. You might fold forward and down. Some folks will work on being more upright. On your next exhale or two, bend your right knee and plant your foot. Curl your left toes under and lift your knee. Inhale to plank or float the right foot back. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog pose or an alternative. Exhale, and downward dog pose. Take a big deep inhale in through your nose. Open your mouth to exhale, HA. Inhale through your nose, ujjayi pranayama. Exhale through your nose, ujjayi pranayama. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step or float up. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, fold and bend your knees, Utkatasana. Inhale your upper body up and take an exhale to pour the weight into your right foot, bring your left ankle over your right knee thigh. Pre-Galavasana or figure four shape, often names for this pose. And again, for some of us, it'll be quite tight and a bit of a struggle, especially if you're strong laterally in your body. Often exercise techniques are working the front and back, not so much the sides, the insides and outsides of our more twisty parts. So, good. Take an exhale to pour the weight into your right foot, and inhale to stand up and take your left knee with you. A turn. Exhale, bend your right knee and slowly step your left foot all the way back into a high lunging shape. Take an inhale to reach up and reach back. And exhale into warrior two. Spin your left heel down. We'll find side angle shape. Inhale to lean forward, and exhale, bring your elbow to your knee. Top arm could go up or over. And again, you might come down on the inside edge or work towards binding your arms behind your back if you wish. Stay in your breath. And remember, that option, which comes up in other videos sometimes, of bringing your back knee down to stabilize, is always available to you. There might be effort involved, but you want to be able to sail the ship, right? Not lost in choppy waters, unsure if you'll make it back to land. Exhale to unbind. Inhale to stand up like warrior two and straighten through your right leg. Exhale to turn your toes in and fold forward, Prasarita Tanasana. I'm going to take 2 peace sign fingers around my big toes, but you could grab your outer legs or outer feet. Use a strap. Inhale to unroll, and exhale folding. Just wrap the strap around behind, and then you can grab it wherever you are in front. Bend your elbows straight out to the sides. Pull yourself in and down. Inhale like a halfway lift. Exhale your hands to your hips. Inhale to stand up. Exhale to the goddess shape. Spin your heels in and your toes out. All right, we're going to try to do a little circular motion here and add a little twisting in a moment. So you could inhale to take your arms to this shape. Bend your elbows, flip your palms forward. On your exhale, bring your right elbow down and your left arm over. Take an inhale here. And exhale, lead with your left arm as you reach for the ground. We'll go to the other side. Inhaling all the way back up. Take an exhale. Inhale, straighten your arms and legs. Exhale, bend your elbows, bend your knees, and go ahead and draw it over to the right, or the left, excuse me. Inhale to take your right arm over. Sorry to be confusing. Lead with your right arm and exhale, come all the way down. And you can inhale to sweep all the way back up to the other side. Exhale there. Inhale, straighten your arms and legs. Exhale, bend your knees and lean to the right. Take your left arm over on the inhale. Circle down on the exhale. Use the inhale to come back up to center. And exhale to arrive there. Inhale, straighten your arms and legs. Exhale, bend your knees and go to the left. Inhale your right arm over. Exhale down into the center. Inhale, your left arm leads you up. And exhale to arrive. Inhale, straighten your arms and legs. And on your exhale, we're going to go back to warrior two. You might turn your left toes in, bend your right knee, reach through your arms. Inhale to reverse your warrior, out, up, and back. And exhale, your hands to the earth. Frame your right foot, spin your left heel up, twist to the right. Inhale your right arm up. You can keep your back knee lifted. You can even do this without your bottom hand on the ground if you want to know where you're twisting from. You can drop your back knee if you wish. Reach around to grab for your foot. You turn to the right. Next exhale to release 2 hands to the earth. Curl your back toes under. Lift your back knee up. Inhale, one-footed dog. Take your right leg up and back. It's like a rule. I gotta lose my microphone like at least once during shooting this. Yeah, inhale your right leg up and back. Exhale, scorpion your dog. Open your hip and bend your knee. If you were not already there, I bet you knew where to go. Inhale, straighten and reach. And exhale, step your right foot outside your right hand. We'll do that lizard business. You might turn your right toes out, stay on your hands, or come to your forearms. You're welcome to take your right hand behind your right foot, turning to the right, bringing your chin towards your shin. Some folks like to lift the back knee in this shape. All right, climb on up out of there. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee up, take an inhale. On your exhale, walk your hands over towards your left foot. Be a bit stealthy through your legs. Yep. Drop your back knee down. And before we do anything else, inhale, straighten your left leg, half split. And so you can always do this with your knee bent, engaging your quad and your hamstring with your ankle flexed. That'll actually get us a lot of work. You might even there decide to slide more forward in space, so you stretch the front of your back hip more. And you're welcome to fold forward towards your front leg. Stay active. Kick down through your left heel, drive your left thigh back. Down to the top of your right leg, draw your right thigh forward. Depending on where you are, remember that you might be quite flexible, not feel like you need to be active. I urge you to try to find grounding in these shapes. Remember, there's no like bonus you get at work because you can do the splits. It doesn't create any greater enjoyment of life, etc., and so on. Remember, the split is an action as opposed to a destination. All right, next exhale or two. Bend your left knee and plant your left foot. Curl your right toes under and lift your right knee. Inhale, step to plank or hover your left foot back. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana of your choosing. Inhale, upward dog or plausibly Cobra pose. Exhale, downward dog pose. Take an inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose, ujjayi pranayama. Hang your head, again, inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. All right, inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step or float forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Walk your feet out so that they're pretty well hips distance apart, if not wider. You can turn your toes out if you wish. Again, you might use a prop on the inside of your left foot. Bring the ground up to your hand. Bend your left knee. Twist to the right. Inhale your right arm up. Now you could take your right arm up and over around behind your back. Ooh, I don't know if you can see where my shirt is fluttering there to reach for your inner left thigh. If you don't find yourself up where your inner elbow is inside your knee, but more down where your shoulder is inside your knee, you might take your bottom arm behind and then reaching around to grab my hands, the outside edge. Use my left hand to hold my right wrist if that's feasible for you. You can stay here, work on straightening your right leg and bending your left knee so you can lean to the left to twist. And also push your shoulder out into your knee and your knee back into your shoulder if you like. And if you want to work on balance, sometimes it's just the day for that. Bring your weight into your right foot, relax your left leg, and stand up for bird of paradise. Now, if you find that that's just not feasible, but you want to work balance, you can release your left leg, left foot to the inside of your inner right thigh for Vrikshasana tree pose and do your work from there. You can also not be on the inside of your leg, but be wrapped around the whole knee. Sometimes that's interesting for folks. You can be on the inside holding underneath your heel, right, with your hand. And you might get about just as much with your opposite hand half bound around as you would. Right from there, you might even be able to extend out. Or if you're bound all the way around and haven't done so already and want to try, you'd inhale into the bird of paradise. You're going to meet with 2 feet on the ground. Give yourself a lot of credit, especially if you hop around. Remember, just stretching in the body, your attitude, approach, intention around it more pertinent than succeeding. And release your arms if they're still bound up. Hang in a forward fold. Inhale, take a halfway lift. And on your exhale, let's fold into the other side. Bend into your right knee, right hand down, maybe on a prop. Take your left arm up. Making this contact of your arm against the inside of your leg can be pertinent. You can always use straps if you want to bind and your arms don't go around. You just have a large, strong thigh. Getting around it is difficult. You might stay here, hang your head, shift your weight around, work on straightening your left leg, maybe both legs. You might stand up on your left foot, take your relaxed right leg along with you. You might transition into a different standing posture like tree pose. You might stay upright in a shape like this, or modify how it is you're holding your leg. You might find bird of paradise or something the like. All right. And slow, we'll return 2 feet to the earth. And hang in a forward fold. Let go of any binding you might have done with your arms. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Stand on your left foot. And inhale your right leg up and back, standing L or split. Now your torso can be higher in this, more like a dead leg lift. I think that's what they call it in weightlifting. And otherwise, you might be folded more down to extend your right leg up. Take an inhale to make sure that you're relaxing the back of your neck. And exhale to hang your head, maybe nodding at no a few times. Try not to clench the earth with your hands. Use the intelligence of your left foot and leg. Take an inhale. Exhale, bend your left knee and step your right foot back. Drop your right knee down. Climb up onto your left knee thigh. Inhale your right arm up and exhale, side body bend to the left. Now you can try flipping your right palm up and reaching over with a bent elbow. Sometimes it changes what we stretch. Like my pinky is forward. I think there's a dance move where you do this, but I think of it a little bit as like sheltering yourself from the rain. You know, you've got one hand up. And also do this with your palm down, reaching over. You could reach 2 arms up, pulling on your right hand with your left, or lean to the left and put your left hand down. Make sure you're strong in your back leg, even though there's extension happening. There. Good. Inhale back up through center. Very nice. And exhale, release your 2 hands down to frame your front foot. Curl your right toes under. Good. Inhale to plank pose. And on your exhale, lower all the way down. Take your right arm straight out to the right. My palm is on the earth. Might be a bit difficult to see. We'll roll to the right using the left hand, left palm under the left shoulder. Now you might use your left hand as a pillow for your right cheek. Your top hip might drop all the way behind you. You might bend your left knee and plant your foot. You can also bend your bottom knee so it's more like you're laying on the ground watching a movie on your side. You're welcome to play around with how high or low this hand is. I like to do palm down, but it's okay to try palm up, especially if you've not done it before. Usually that means your thumb will point down. Good. Exhale slow to come back to center. Your right hand under your right shoulder. Curl your toes under. Inhale through upward facing dog pose. Exhale to downward facing dog pose. Inhale to gaze forward. And exhale to step or float to the top. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale to forward fold. Bend your knees, sink your hips, Utkatasana. Inhale your arms up, reaching up. On your exhale, settle your weight down and back a little further. Now be kind to your knees. It doesn't have to go super low if that's not what your knees allow, but your knees are healthy. Inhale. And on your exhale, sit down a little deeper. And eventually your hips behind your knees. Inhale. Exhale, sit down a little deeper. Your heels can totally lift if you need them to. Inhale, exhale, come all the way down into a squat. Some of us will have to turn our heels in and our toes out, or come forward onto the toes and the hands to be in a squatted position. And take a big free inhale in. And on your exhale, rock back into your boat pose, right? Gracefully or otherwise. I think I'm demonstrating a good otherwise for you. You can draw your shins up or keep your toes down, especially if it allows you to lengthen your heart up, lengthen and engage your back body by contracting your psoas. Good. We're just going to do a little bit of twisting in this shape. So if your hands are on the ground or behind your knees, you might assist in drawing your knees in or out. Otherwise, you could take your hands, making them like bat wings behind your ears and your elbows wide. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, twist to the left and extend your right leg. Try not to let your upper body do much. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist to the right. Extend through your left leg. Inhale, center. Exhale, extend. So you can go low and push through your foot. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist right. Or you can keep your foot high up. Inhale. Exhale, twist right. Left, excuse me, my goodness. Inhale. Exhale, twist right. You know what to do. We'll do a couple more on each side. Exhale. When you need to draw your knees into your chest, put your feet on the ground and wrap around and hang forward. It can be graceful, but it certainly doesn't need to be. You can use your hands to bring yourself back into your little squat. And we'll take an inhale to come back into our Utkatasana, that one that's quite low. Exhale there, take another inhale to draw yourself up into that regular Utkatasana business. And exhale, forward fold. Pour the weight into your right foot and inhale to standing L or split. Kick your left leg up and back. Exhale by exhale, hang forward and down. Now again, you can discern where the work is for you. Wherever you end up, take an inhale. Use an exhale to hang your head. Maybe nod at no. Make sure that it's released. And take another in-breath. Exhale to bend your right knee. And step your left foot back. Drop your left knee down. You can flatten your foot or keep it curled. I haven't said it already, but generally do. You can always fold your mat over and pad your back knee if it feels tender. Your kneecap naturally displaces, and sometimes it just feels a little weird or pressureful. Inhale, take your left arm up. Exhale, side body bend over to the right. Again, you might flip your palm up with your thumb forward and your elbow bent. You might keep your palm down. You're welcome to use your right hand to pull on your left. Inhale your way back up through center. Exhale, release your two hands down. Curl your right toes under. Step back, inhale. Exhale, lower all the way to the earth. We'll go to the other side, so this time take your left arm out to the left, right hand under your right shoulder, roll to the left. Hang your head wherever you wish. You might drop your back leg back, and again, it can be quite different. You can go by feeling. Notice where an accurate threshold is for you. All right. Slowly use your right hand to support you as you roll back through center. Curl your toes under. On an exhale, draw your navel in, strengthen your legs. Inhale to upward dog or cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog pose. Good. Take a big free inhale in through your nose. And open your mouth to exhale. Good. And slowly come down to your knees. Draw yourself through to a seat. And do a little bit of stretching before finding rest or meditation. Utkatasana, bring the soles of your feet together and remove flesh out from underneath you. You can roll forward if you like. Rolling forward for some folks just creates knee pressure, in which case bring your legs out. And in this shape, if you like, you can also use props or rolled up towels underneath your knees for support. You can stay upright, use your hands behind you. You can sit up on a block if you know that helps with forward flexion, folding forward at your hips. You can inhale to unroll if you're folding, and exhale to fold. And you can round. You're welcome to be passive, hang your head, be active, draw your navel back like you're trying to draw your nose to your toes. You can also extend by shortening through your middle back as opposed to your neck, and thinking of your heart or your navel coming towards the arches of your feet. And slowly roll your way up. And roll to the outside edge of your left hip. And take your right leg out and see if you can go kind of sideways. Yeah, like I've rolled the blade of my foot down, but you might flex your foot and be on the inside edge of your foot. And you can sort of figure out here, some of us will be quite high up in this shape or not really be able to roll quite over. And notice if you have the shape to do this, this might be another way to do these side stretching actions. We're going to come all the way around to bring the right toes up to face the ceiling. Take an inhale to reach your arms up overhead, and exhale to side bend to the right. You can draw your arm on top of your right leg, inside, outside. Take your top arm up or over. You could do any of these other funky, I used to call this sort of the funky chicken wings. Spend a lot more time with chickens. Their wings don't really do this much. You can always hang your head, especially if your neck feels tight. The traction drop you down. And also always take your left hand and press your left thigh down. Good. Starting with the left hip, drag your head, roll yourself back to center. Switch sides, bring your right leg in, roll to the outside edge of your right hip, and see if you can take your foot out. You might get to this place right where your knee would be bent. You're just straightening it, right? And you can always lift yourself up and over. Sometimes it can get a little nitty gritty in our hip here. You might stay here and breathe, especially if it's interesting. I have to keep my inner quad quite strong so that my inner knee doesn't feel tugged on. Let's roll all the way around to bringing the left toes up. Inhale, take your arms out and up, and exhale, side bend to the left. And again, you could go up and over. It's pretty rare that someone grabs their foot without rotating down. Trying to stay rotated up and open. You're always welcome to experiment. Good. Inhale, slowly drag your head on your way back up to center. Take an exhale there. Let's take both legs out. Upavishta Konasana, the wide angle pose. Now, you might stay upright and work on rotating your inner thighs up and out, and keep your hands behind you, puff out your chest. You can tuck your chin and breathe straight up and down in your spine. If If you feel pretty open, there's no pain, you can keep your inner thighs strong. Start to come forward and down. Some folks will feel like they can roll their feet down and roll forward towards the inner groin into that Samakhanasana, and you're welcome to do that if it feels strong for you. You can come forward and down as much as you'd like. We'll take a few breaths only. And notice if you think, oh my God, I can only stay for a few breaths. Maybe a kinder choice is it for you. Even from a pragmatic idea of becoming more flexible or more strong, it can be smarter to train into a place where there's some difficulty, but where we still feel we have acuity and relaxation, keenness to ourselves. And I think that's where that internal listening, or in yoga we call it pratyahara, turning inward. It's interesting, when we go outward with our energy, we express. When we go inward, it's like we impress. Right? You slowly draw yourself up. You can use your hands behind your legs to draw them in. And just one stretch for the front of the body, tabletop, or you can take the east facing stretch, the Tanasana or inclined plane. Take your hands behind you. Inhale, press your hips up. You can hang your head back if you like. The long version is like this. Exhale your hips down. Take your legs out long. Take an inhale to reach up and exhale to fold forward over your straight legs. Be active if you'd like, pulling yourself forward or passive hanging. And slowly dragging your head, release any grip on your legs and roll yourself down all the way onto your back. When you're all the way down, place myself on my mat a little bit. Slowly gather your left knee into your chest and give it a squeeze. And you might feel compression in your hip. Bring your right knee in to meet your left. And take your left leg long and keep your right knee in to squeeze. We're going to twist, so you're welcome to bind your legs up or to stack your knees. Or you can take your left hand and use it to guide your right knee across your body. You can always stack props underneath your knee. It doesn't have to meet the earth. Same thing with your shoulder. You don't have to pin it down with tension. Your right shoulder might float. You can take your right arm out. I don't look to the right because it tends to overly compress some of the arteries and nerves under my collarbone on my right side. But you might if it feels good. Notice if you're clenching butt cheeks or regular cheeks, shoulders. Breathe deeply, and once you're doing it, see if you can let it happen as opposed to conducting it all. And roll back to center. And give your right leg one more squeeze in. And bring your left knee in to meet it. Keep your left knee in and take your right leg long. And we'll twist over to the right with the left leg. You take your left arm out to the left. Turn to the left as much as you wish. Slowly roll back to center and draw your left knee back into your chest one last time. Bring both knees in. You can give yourself a good squeeze. From here, if there's any other finishing postures you feel you need to do, like lying up into an inversion, like legs up the wall, sometimes back bending feels important, feel free to do those things. We're headed to a resting, integrating shape, so you might take your legs long and head into Shavasana, a death practice or corpse pose. You could also take that same energy of resting, integrating, ending by laying on your side or your belly, or moving to a comfortable piece of furniture to repose, or coming to a seat if that's more safe for you, or leaning against a wall. We'll rest for a few minutes and then I'll call you up and out of rest. So if you know that you need to stay a little longer than that, feel free to sort of pause the video or do whatever you'd like. You can also just ignore it and stay through. You're also welcome to pause it if you need to rest for a little less, right? Those are also options. Otherwise, close your eyes if it's available to you, or pick a spot to gaze at so you can continue to practice that internal gaze, that practice of sort of taking stock of your internal libraries, your stories, your mechanical manuals, sort of figuring out what you need and don't need, where you need to sort of resource. And sometimes this sort of economy or efficiency of this time, right, can feel very pragmatic. Sometimes it can feel a little more wrought with our sense of what we're attached to, of who we think we are, inability to sort of imagine what is new, etc., until we fully let go of what is old. And those ideas can come up, and if they do, remember this is not about perfecting anything or forgiving anything. Sometimes whatever I have to say is not really what you need to practice for, right? So there's something else in mind. You might draw your awareness to it. Maybe just the idea of rest is enough, allowing yourself to be heavy into the earth. Let your breathing practice go. If you're still doing ujjayi, let yourself settle towards natural and voluntary breathing, even if at first it's a little choppy or held. Again, I'll call you up with chanting when it's time to come up and out. Till then, practice paying attention to how things really are. Sahana vavatu, sahano bhunaktu, saha viryam karavavahai, tejasti navaditamastu, mavit vashavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May we, as we learn together, be protected. May we together know peace and joy. May the work we do for our own liberation and the liberation of all be brilliant and illuminated. May our work seek always to aid and collaborate in the liberation, joy, freedom, peace of all beings everywhere inside of this context of universality, non-dualism, and love. Thank you for practicing. If you are lying in rest or sitting in meditation and wish to remain as such, do. The time has come to return. Let practice of gratitude as perspective draw you back. Gratitude is acknowledgement of how things really are. In the cosmic perspective, paying attention perhaps to the idea that this planet had to form over millennia, that the universe had to exist before you could do this yoga practice, that the ancestors of the land you stand on had to steward it, that the ancestors of your lineage had to steward you, that you had to move through your lifetime as you are, learning what you have, resources, good and bad, teachers, useful and unuseful. There's gratitude to the communities that uphold you and bear witness to you, gratitude to those who care for you, and gratitude for yourself that you turn towards with courage the truth of how things really are, that you can seek to organize and seek to follow the example of nature, that we can wax and wane, and we can strengthen and soften. Again, my name is Alyssa. If we haven't met in real life, I use they, them pronouns. It's okay to reach out to me if you have feedback or you need things. Feel free to reach out. There's information sort of listed with these videos. Otherwise, I hope that you have some peace, have some space for yourself in these times. I'm sending you what love and generous peace that I can from where I am. And hopefully we will see each other again soon. Thank you.